Good evening. This is MemphisWeather.net meteorologist Erik Proseus. It is 7 p.m. on Tuesday night, March the 3rd, and this is probably our last update on the winter storm that is expected to impact the metro region beginning tomorrow, March the 4th, and lasting into Thursday, March the 5th. This is the surface map as we expect it to look during the day tomorrow, and you can see that we've got this Arctic cold front that is basically slicing right through the area. It should be just south of Memphis. This is valid at about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning as far as the fronts are concerned, so that front will have moved through. It's going to be a pretty mild night out ahead of it, though. We're looking at upper 50s to near 60 just about all night long tonight on a pretty good, strong southerly flow of moisture coming out of the Gulf, and that's going to keep those temperatures up. Behind the front is when we expect an area of freezing rain to be possible for a very large portion of the southern United States up into the Ohio River Valley, and some periods of heavy snow also basically from right around the Memphis metro area to the north and east during the day tomorrow, reaching all the way up into the mid-Atlantic. So that is the setup for tomorrow. This is the large high pressure, Arctic high pressure system that's going to be building in behind this front once it moves by during the day tomorrow and as we head into Thursday and Friday. As far as before we get to the winter storm, though, it looks like we're going to have some pretty good rainfall, especially starting during the early hours tomorrow, probably right along and behind that front. It looks like that'll move through the Memphis area between about 3 a.m. and 7 a.m., depending on where exactly you are, but right along the I-40 corridor around 4 or 5 in the morning. And the rainfall through 6 p.m. tomorrow night looks to be somewhere around 1 inch or so right here in the metro. You notice a very heavy band of precipitation, and most of that actually is going to be falling in a frozen variety up to the north of the front. But right here in the Memphis metro, looking at about 1 inch of rain, so some areas that are prone to some low-lying flooding and so forth could see a little bit of water during the day tomorrow accumulating. Now as we head into the overnight hours, that's going to be our biggest concern for frozen precipitation, and this is the liquid equivalent precipitation, or liquid equivalent for the snow, sleet, and so forth if it were melted down between 6 p.m. Wednesday and 6 p.m. Thursday. And it does appear that we're again up close to 1 inch of liquid falling in from the skies, in the form of just about all of that is going to be in the form of wintry precipitation, and we'll get into the details in that in just a second. So this is as far as snowfall is concerned, and I want to start with the snowfall, but it looks like this may not be our biggest worry. If you watched our video blog yesterday, you'll know that that the sleet was the chief concern, and that remains the case. But this is from the Weather Prediction Center out of NOAA, the National Weather Service, and this is their most likely snowfall forecast. Basically, it's a 50-50 percentile, which means that there is a 50% chance it could be more than this, a 50% chance it could be less than this. In other words, this is the most likely scenario. And as far as snowfall is concerned, it's painting right around 2 inches right along and north of I-40. Going up into Tipton County could be closer to the 3-inch mark. Down to the south in North Mississippi, maybe 1 inch, and farther down south, just south of the metro, a little bit less than that. But again, this is the 50th percentile, meaning we have equal chances of having more or less than that. If I look at the our forecast, though, of the winter weather accumulation that we're expecting, this precipitation is going to be moving in as rain during the day tomorrow, and the change from yesterday on this is going to be the timing of this precipitation changeover to freezing. And now it looks like that is going to be a little bit later than what we had forecasted yesterday. The freezing line, the 32-degree line, is going to be right very close to this dashed line around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So that would be entering the north side of the metro, northern Crittenden County, northern Tipton County. Again, this could still be off by an hour or two either direction. At this point, I think it's not very likely it'll be much earlier than this. It could be a little bit later, but this is what we think right now. And then the freezing line should be down through a good part of the metro, dipping down into the Marshall County and Tate County areas by 6 p.m. tomorrow night. So we're looking at basically the I-40 corridor somewhere around 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon when temperatures hit freezing. So they're going to be about around 60 to the upper 50s overnight tonight. They will fall throughout the morning quickly down as this front moves through, down through the 40s and 30s, and then finally reaching freezing right around 4 p.m. along the I-40 area. Now, as that happens, when the precipitation changes over from liquid to frozen, we expect the initial onset of that frozen precipitation to be in the form of freezing rain. And freezing rain accumulations will not be very great tomorrow. A quarter of an inch is probably the upper bounds of what we expect. Now, that's certainly enough to glaze over bridges and overpasses, though. I think the things we have going for us at this point will be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, with the day spent above freezing rather than below freezing, that the roads will be a little bit more prone to accept this freezing rain and melt it initially, since the roads will be a little bit warmer. However, as that precipitation continues to come down, that is going to cool those road surfaces. So the bridges and overpasses would be the first things to go, and that could be right around rush hour tomorrow evening, if not shortly after. After we get through a couple of hours of freezing rain, I think we're going to be switching over to sleet. And sleet is going to be the predominant precipitation type that is going to cause us the most problems, and I expect that to last throughout the evening hours tomorrow and into the probably the midnight hour or a little bit after. Accumulations of sleet will probably be in the 1 to 2 inch range throughout the Memphis metro area. That is a good amount of sleet, and that is equal to or maybe a little more than what we had on the President's Day storm, the first storm that we got on Monday back in the middle of February. So the first one of these systems to come through. So that is a good amount of sleet. And then on top of that, after midnight, that sleet will be mixing and changing over to snow. It looks like the snow will last during the late overnight hours into the early morning hours on Thursday. Could go into the rush hour on Thursday morning if there is a rush hour. I would kind of hesitate to call it that at this point, because I have a feeling a lot of things are going to be shut down on Thursday if this pans out. But during those early morning to maybe even mid-morning hours, tapering off as flurries. And in the Memphis metro, 1 to 3 inches is our forecast. I expect the higher amounts will be up to the north, Tipton County, northern Crittenden County, and points north of there. You see they might get, actually north of that area, 3 to 4 inches of snow, where down here along the southern portions, say from Marshall County across Tate County, Tunica County, may be closer to an inch. So right in the middle of that, somewhere around a couple of inches possible, right here in the Memphis metro corridor, around the I-40 corridor, the immediate metro area. So those are the accumulations that we're expecting. And again, this would go from rain during the day tomorrow to freezing rain late afternoon, early evening, over to sleet during the evening hours. Some of that could be steady to heavy at times, and then after midnight changing over to light snow that would last for several hours after midnight into the early morning hours Thursday. You notice to the south that the freezing rain is about the same, a little bit less sleet and a little bit less snow. Up to the north, if you are headed up towards, say, Blytheville, Ripley, Jonesboro, north of there, Dyersburg, looks like they're going to be getting more snow, 3 to 4 inches, maybe even higher amounts than that up farther to the north, even up to 3 inches of sleet, which would be an awful lot of sleet. I haven't seen that in a very long time, but the amount of precipitation falling out of the sky on this one is going to be quite a bit. So those are the accumulation amounts that we're expecting right now, of course, subject to change, but that's our best guess at this point. So let's go through some of the winter storm impacts and details then. To recap, rain changing to freezing rain late afternoon Wednesday, then sleet during the evening, snow after midnight. Heavy rain is possible Wednesday before the precipitation changes over. Watch for some ponding and low-lying flooding, especially if you decide to leave work early tomorrow. If you want to try and beat some of the frozen precipitation before rush hour, leave mid-afternoon, we're going to run into some ponding of water, certainly. Up to a quarter of an inch of freezing rain, that is going to cause slick bridges and overpasses, especially as we head into around the sunset hour. After about 6 o'clock or so, I expect that we will be seeing slick roads, if not a little bit quicker than that. Sleet, 1 to 2 inches. There are some indications it could be a little bit more than that, especially up to the northern side of the metro, but I think 1 to 2 is probably a pretty good guess right here in the metro, and roads will become dangerous overnight in that kind of condition. Especially if you have any plans to travel during the overnight hours, be very, very cautious. I expect that this will, coming down in a moderate intensity, that it will build up on the roadways fairly quickly. Sleet does not melt nearly as well as freezing rain or snow does because of the ice pellets that come down out of that. And then after midnight, 1 to 3 inches of snow. That's going to cover all this sleet and ice up so that you won't see it when you wake up Thursday morning. It's going to be underneath the layer of snow most likely, and that's going to cause even more problems because certainly you can't see necessarily where all the sleet and ice is on the roadways underneath it. So it looks like just a winter precipitation layer cake here that's going to be causing some pretty hazardous conditions as we head into Thursday morning. The other things to think about: gusty winds. During the day tomorrow, those winds are going to be blowing out of the north 25 to 30 miles an hour, maybe even a little bit higher than that, up closer to 30 or 35 during the evening hours and early overnight period. That is going to drop the wind chill readings very, very quickly, and we'll see wind chills in the teens during the afternoon hours after starting the morning around 6, 7 a.m. with temperatures up in the 50s. If we get periods of freezing rain that might stick to the power lines and so forth early in the event, these gusty winds are certainly going to cause problems for them because power lines that are moving from gusty winds with ice on them could result in some sporadic power outages as well. I don't think power outages will be a great big deal, but we certainly could see that possible. And then behind this system, Thursday and Friday, that bitterly cold Arctic air builds into the area, very un-March-like conditions. In fact, we'll probably see some record lows fall, especially Friday morning. That is going to delay any melting and recovery following this system, despite the sunshine that we'll see, especially during the day on Friday. A lot of sunshine Friday, but with temperatures only up around 30, 33. The roads are certainly going to do better on Friday as we get sunshine, some traffic on them, and having those temperatures up around freezing, they will improve pretty quickly, especially the primary roads. But we still could have some problem with secondary roads, and we're still going to have a lot of sleet and snow around, I think, on the ground surfaces during the day through Friday at least. Thursday, I really don't expect a whole lot of improvement to go on during the day. It looks like that if we get the amount of sleet and snow that we're predicting, clouds will be around for at least the first half of the day. Temperatures are going to remain in the 20s throughout the day Thursday. That will certainly delay any melting. The confidence overall in this event right now, I'm calling moderate, even though we're within about 24 hours of this event. We still have models that are not coming into getting in line with this event, so there's still some uncertainty. And I think the best potential for a deviation from the forecast I'm giving you here is going to be the possibility that this could start a little later than we're predicting right now. It is possible that we could see just wet rain conditions through the rush hour tomorrow night and not really change over until around rush hour a little bit later. And I don't think that is going to affect the accumulation amounts all that much, but it could start a little bit later. Overall, I think the event confidence then is moderate. Details of this are still subject to change, and we'll continue to keep you updated. Looking ahead, you see that Arctic blast coming through behind this system on Thursday. High temperature of 28 after a low of 22 Thursday morning. A few flurries still around during the morning hours possibly. This 49-degree high temperature for tomorrow will be at, that's the daytime high, which will occur at 6 a.m. The temperatures will be falling throughout the day down to that low of 22 by Thursday morning. Friday morning when you wake up, I have 14 for an overnight low Thursday night into Friday morning, and I expect if we have the amount of snow or ice coverage that we're looking at right now, that some areas, many areas outside of the center of the city, could see temperatures down as low as 10 and maybe the upper single digits on Friday morning. Afternoon high 33 with a good deal of sunshine. Saturday, a little bit warmer during the afternoon, another cold start, 43 for the afternoon high. Sunday and Monday improving even more, gaining about 5 degrees each day, and that will certainly help the melting conditions. By Monday, we're back in the lower 50s with lows down around freezing. Hopefully, we get all of the roads and stuff in good shape by then. I expect that we will, but that will help out by Monday. But Thursday and Friday are going to be, especially Thursday, going to be hazardous travel days. If you have plans, make sure you have an alternate arrangement just in case that doesn't work out. And I'll leave you here with these winter weather preparedness tips that we like to share. Through about midday tomorrow. You've still got time if you need to Stock up if you have to for a couple of days. In case you're stuck in the house for a couple of days, make sure you've got certainly the food and water you need for your pets. Make sure you got your baby items, formula and so forth, or whatever they need. Basic first aid items, your medications, make sure you have your prescriptions filled. You don't want to run out on Thursday and not be able to get out. I don't think we'll have a lot of power outage issues, but having a backup flashlight, weather radio, extra batteries and so forth is a good idea. And then when we get into Friday morning with temperatures that low, we're going to want to be careful about dripping faucets. Make sure that you have warm air getting to those pipes. We don't want to end the year with what I think is going to be the last winter event of the year with busted pipes. So make sure that you take those precautions as well, especially on Friday morning. We will continue to bring you the latest information. Make sure you have multiple sources to get your information from. We appreciate you following us here at MemphisWeather.net. We will provide updates throughout the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night on Facebook and Twitter. And you can follow us at Memphis Weather 1 on Twitter.